Mary Magdalene by Carlo Crivelli, a masterpiece of international Gothic style. Carlo Crivelli, c. 1430–35, c. 1495, was one of the most original and influential painters of the late 15th century in Italy. He developed a distinctive style that combined the refined elegance and naturalism of the international Gothic style with the expressive realism and spatial illusionism of the early Renaissance. His paintings are characterized by meticulous attention to detail, rich color, elaborate ornamentation, and striking use of perspective and light. One of his finest works is the painting of Mary Magdalene, which was created around 1480 as the altarpiece for a small church dedicated to her in the rural region of the Marches, where Crivelli spent most of his career. The painting is a tempera on panel, measuring 152 centimeters in height and 49 centimeters in width. It is currently housed in the Rijksmuseum in Amsterdam, after a long and turbulent history of ownership and displacement. Mary Magdalene was one of the most important and popular saints in the Christian tradition. She was a follower of Jesus, who witnessed his crucifixion, burial, and resurrection. She was also the first person to whom Jesus appeared after his resurrection, according to the Gospel of John. She is often depicted as a repentant sinner, who renounced her worldly life and devoted herself to prayer and penance. In Crivelli's painting, Mary Magdalene is portrayed as a beautiful and noble woman, standing in a graceful pose with her head slightly tilted and her eyes looking down. She wears a luxurious dress, with a red cloak draped over her waist and a golden brocade on her upper body. Her long hair, which according to legend she used to wipe Jesus' feet, flows down her back and covers her shoulders. She holds an ointment jar in her right hand, which is a symbol of her role in the anointing of Jesus' body before and after his death. A halo surrounds her head, indicating her sanctity and holiness. The painting is full of symbolic details that enhance the meaning and the beauty of the image. For example, the background features an arched structure, which resembles a Gothic portal or a niche, creating a sense of depth and space. The arch is decorated with intricate patterns and motifs, such as floral elements, geometric shapes, and animal figures. The arch also serves as a frame for the painting, emphasizing the importance and the centrality of the figure of Mary Magdalene. Another notable detail is the inscription at the bottom of the painting, which reads Opus Caroli Crivelli Venet. This is Crivelli's signature, which he often included in his works, proudly asserting his Venetian origin and mastery. The signature also reveals Crivelli's awareness of his artistic achievement and his desire to leave a lasting mark on his creations. Crivelli's painting of Mary Magdalene is a masterpiece of the international Gothic style, which flourished in Europe in the late 14th and early 15th centuries. This style was characterized by a refined and elegant aesthetic, influenced by the courtly culture and the artistic traditions of France, Germany, and the Low Countries. The style also incorporated elements of naturalism and realism, inspired by the innovations of the early Renaissance in Italy. Crivelli's painting demonstrates his skillful use of the tempera technique, which involves applying pigments mixed with egg yolk and water on a wooden panel prepared with gesso. This technique allows for a smooth and precise application of color, creating a luminous and vibrant effect. Crivelli also used gold leaf and pastilia, which are raised relief decorations made of gesso or plaster, to create a rich and ornate surface. The gold leaf and pastilia reflect the light and create a contrast with the matte colors, enhancing the realism and the splendor of the painting. Crivelli's painting also shows his mastery of perspective and light, which he learned from the early Renaissance artists such as Piero della Francesca and Fra Angelico. He used linear perspective to create a convincing illusion of depth and space, as seen in the archway and the floor tiles. He also used atmospheric perspective to create a sense of distance and atmosphere, as seen in the blue sky and the distant mountains. He used light to create a dramatic and expressive effect, as seen in the shadows and highlights on the figure of Mary Magdalene and the objects around her. Crivelli's painting of Mary Magdalene has a long and complex history of ownership and displacement, which reflects the political and cultural changes that occurred in Europe over the centuries. The painting was originally commissioned by the parish priest of a church dedicated to Mary Magdalene in the town of Montefiore dell'Asso, in the province of Ascoli Piceno, in the Marches. The church was built in the 13th century and renovated in the 15th century, when Crivelli was active in the region. The painting was installed as the altarpiece of the church, where it remained until the 19th century. In 1811, during the Napoleonic occupation of Italy, the painting was confiscated by the French authorities and taken to Paris, where it was exhibited in the Louvre. In 1815, after the fall of Napoleon, the painting was returned to Italy, but not to its original location. Instead, it was sent to the Pinacoteca di Ibrea in Milan, where it was displayed among other works of Italian art. In 1912, the painting was sold by the Italian government to the Kaiser Friedrich Museum in Berlin, where it joined the collection of German art. The painting was admired by many visitors and scholars, who recognized its artistic value and significance. However, the painting also faced some dangers and damages during its stay in Berlin. In 1914, during World War I, the painting was moved to a safe location to protect it from possible bombings. In 1935, the painting was sold by the museum to a Jewish art dealer named Rosenbaum, who brought it to Amsterdam. The painting was then acquired by a wealthy banker and collector named Fritz Mannheimer, who had a passion for Italian art. In 1939, Mannheimer died and his collection was inherited by his heirs. However, in 1940, during World War II, the painting was seized by the Nazis, who planned to include it in Hitler's Führer Museum, a grandiose museum project that was never realized. The painting was transported to a salt mine in Austria, where it was hidden along with other looted artworks. In 1945, the painting was recovered by the Allied forces and returned to the Netherlands, where it was claimed by the Dutch government as part of the war reparations. In 1949, the painting was loaned to the Rijksmuseum in Amsterdam. In 1960, the painting was officially transferred to the museum, where it has been on permanent display ever since. The painting is one of the highlights of the museum's collection and one of the most admired works of Crivelli. Crivelli's painting of Mary Magdalene is a remarkable example of the international Gothic style in Italy, which combines the elegance and naturalism of the late medieval art with the realism and illusionism of the early Renaissance. The painting is also a testimony of Crivelli's artistic genius and craftsmanship, which is evident in his use of tempera, gold, pastilia, perspective, and light. The painting is also a witness of the history and the culture of Europe, which is reflected in its complex and turbulent provenance. The painting is a masterpiece that deserves to be seen and appreciated by all.